Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Cervantes podcast. Joining me today to discuss what it's like being the first to achieve something, his nonprofit organization, Kids Cube, aimed to introduce children to the wonders of science through fun, affordable, and accessible means, and why he chose to go to Stanford University over the other 10 prestigious universities he also got accepted into, is the first Black valedictorian at Oakland Technical High School in its 106-year history, Ahmed Muhammad. Ahmad, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you, Cervantes?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
For sure. Thanks for inviting me on.
What was it like when your school told you that you were chosen to be valedictorian? What went through your mind when you found out you're going to be the first Black valedictorian of your high school?
Ooh, it's a good one. I was definitely very excited when I found out I was gonna be valedictorian. And it's not really like just because not everybody knows. It's not really like they don't choose anybody. It just goes by whoever has the highest GPA. And
Oh, okay.
yeah, so I had like a 4.73, I think, and that was enough to put me over whoever was number two. And I was super excited because I just been like working for it for like so long, just taking all the AP classes and college classes, and it was nice to see it all pay off with like all the college acceptances and stuff. And then also a nice side accomplishment was the valedictorian thing. And when I found out I was the first Black male valedictorian in my school's history, that was definitely a bittersweet moment. I wasn't too happy about that because like I shouldn't have to be the first. Like I literally like the largest open public school in Oakland,
Right.
California has all this rich history, all this Black history, and I was the first in 2021. So that was kind of it was surprising, but I'm glad that we were able to get the first out the way so that way we can look forward and look at what's next.
Right, because it's I was gonna ask you that like later on because it's kind of bittersweet. Like that's dope that you worked really hard in high school, you earned this great achievement. But it's like your school's been around for over 100 years and like you're the first. So it's like it's kind of bittersweet. It's like why what set me apart from all the other hundreds, maybe even thousands of Black people that came before you in your high school. So yeah, that's true.
Mhm.
Is it difficult being the first? Did you ever feel like you had imposter syndrome?
No, because I mean I worked for it.
Okay.
It definitely I don't, yeah, like on paper, I'm the first valedictorian, right? But that
Mhm.
doesn't mean I'm by no means, and I said this in my speech too, I'm by no means the first Black person capable of being valedictorian, like not even.
Right.
And so it was, I was only able to do this because of the sacrifices made by the people who came before me. So in my eyes, like they're, all of the people who came before me are the true valedictorians. I'm just the first person to hold the title. So I consider it our award.
Right. I like that. And were there any doubters in high school or like haters that like were kind of hating on you when like people found out you're gonna be the valedictorian?
Most definitely. I think whenever you're trying to do something positive for yourself, there's going to be a lot of support, but at the same time, there's going to be a lot of people who don't believe in you, don't believe in what you're trying to do, or just doubt you. So there were definitely a lot of supporters. I mean, a lot of doubters, but there's way, way, way more supporters. So I really just love to focus on the community that I was able to rely on, my friends, my family, my teachers, my coaches, my mentors. They uplifted me throughout the whole process, and I just try my best to uplift those around me as well. So yeah, there was negativity, but there was much more positivity.
And that's important. And I think that's good that you chose to focus on like the your loved ones and the good circle around you in your environment. Because sometimes it's like when someone is given that great of an achievement and you're Black, sometimes it's like there's more haters even from maybe our community or outside. It's like, why is he getting it? Like he's, whatever. So I think there's sometimes, maybe racism in that hatred
Oh, for sure.
when someone achieves something great. But that's dope. Like focus on what's important. Like you said that you've always done. So that's really important.
And one
Um,
of the things that's like, oh my bad, I don't mean to cut you. But one of
no,
the
no,
things, okay, one of the things that's important to know, and is like, I wasn't chosen. I said this earlier, but a lot of people didn't know that. Like, they didn't just pick me out of a hat. Like, it was just literally, I just had the best grades out of my class. So you can't really argue that. You can't be mad at me for that.
right,
But
right.
people, I don't know. I just been taught to focus on the positives around you because people are going to be mad at you no matter what you do. So like, there's going to be people that are upset. So there's no point of focusing on it. You can't make everybody happy.
That's so true. That's so true. And I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I thought it was because I thought like in high school there's so many great kids. So I always thought it was like, oh, we like this one. I thought it was about that, but that makes sense. Highest GPA. And that's also really dope that you were able to like work really hard and get your grades up. And that means you didn't really do bad on like any classes. That's really dope. Like you studied, you put the work in. So like you said, no one can take that away from you because numbers don't lie. So
Hmm.
that's so true. Speech. But back in November 2020, when she was vice president elect in her victory speech, Madam Vice President Kamala Harris famously said, I may be the first, but I will not be the last. Do you agree with Madam Vice President Harris?
For sure, with most definitely. I was inspired seeing her at the inauguration. I can't imagine what it's like for all the young women all the young girls out there who are aspiring to hold the highest title in the country. So I obviously like in my speech, like I had to copy that from her, and I actually had the pleasure of meeting Kamala Harris. It was over Zoom. But I got to meet her, talk to her about my speech because she's from Oakland as well, and so
Wow. I didn't
mhm,
know that. Wow, okay.
she's from Oakland too. So it's like I got to talk to her about it, and it was really cool. It was dope.
That's dope. No, that is like the first black vice president, the first woman, first Asian American president. That's really dope to like see for young people, like you said, young girls of color. And that's dope that you got to meet her over Zoom. Do you, if you don't mind sharing, do you remember what you guys spoke about?
It was like a CNN special, and
Okay.
CNN was doing like a graduation for like the class of 2021, and
Okay.
so I was highlighted along with three other high school seniors who are all amazing. Az Fudd, my boy Addie, and then I'm forgetting. I think her name was Victoria, but I'm not sure. But like they're all amazing, and it was cool to meet
Okay.
them. And so we all had like our own little like segments like on CNN, and then we got to meet the vice
Wow.
president as a surprise.
That's I gotta look at that. I was like researching you on YouTube, like trying to see what I could find, but I gotta check that out. That's so
For
dope.
sure, yeah.
I was watching a segment that KPIX CBS San Francisco Bay Area featured you on from April of this year, and it was reported that you got accepted into all 11 colleges and universities that you applied to, some being Harvard, Princeton, UCLA, Columbia, and you ultimately chose to enroll in Stanford University. Stanford is an amazing and prestigious school, but I wanted to know what specifically made you choose that school over the other ones.
Stanford. If you know me, you know I don't play about my academics. Like that's always going to be number one. And I think Stanford just had the best engineering program out of all the schools I applied to. And I should say because Berkeley is definitely up there as well. I should say, and in some regards, it's ranked higher than Stanford. But Stanford had the best engineering program and also wasn't too close to home. Like it's still close to home. It's like an hour and a half away.
Okay.
But I would say that was my thinking. Like, okay, I want to go somewhere. Like Berkeley is right in my backyard, so I don't want to go there. But Stanford, Stanford is like arguably the best engineering school in the country, and I get to go somewhere new. And so
Right.
that's what it came down to me. Like it was a pretty simple choice.
Yeah, that's dope. No, that's a great school. I just wondered like watching that segment. I was like, oh, like those are all great. So I wonder like why this one stood out to you specifically. But that's dope, and that's your major engineering.
Mhm.
Um, do you know what type of engineering
I
that you
don't,
want
but
to
that's
do yet?
part of why I like Stanford is because you don't have to commit until like your junior year.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, because you're
But what
gonna
I
be a
will,
freshman, so you
yeah, I'm
want
gonna,
like time.
yeah. And what I will say is that like and I'm making it seem like it was a much simpler decision than what it actually was. Like it came down to Stanford and Harvard, and I decided like the last day, like the last hour of the last day, to go to Stanford, and I
Wow. Okay. Okay.
and I think what the deciding fact, I woke up just ready. I was ready to go to Harvard. I was ready, but
Wow.
I think what did it for me was Stanford has just always been my dream, or at least what I said my dream was, and so I just made it my dream, and I just picked Stanford. I was like, all right, this is gonna be the dream. Like it's what I've been telling myself for so long.
Oh, okay. So you had like your eyes set on that from like a very young age.
Right. I wasn't even gonna like. I guess like in high school when I actually started thinking about college, but
Mhm.
I didn't like. I applied to Stanford early and I got in. I wasn't planning on applying to any other colleges.
Oh wow, okay. Did you do what's it called? Early action?
Yeah, I did early restrictive.
Okay.
Stanford has restrictive early action, So I applied there. I got in. I was like, all right, I'm gonna go to Stanford. Let me commit. And then my parents are like, no, like you should weigh your other options. And I was like, I didn't want to. I didn't care. My mind was set on Stanford,
Right.
which 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 in hindsight was I think I should have done more research on these different colleges because I
Right.
was just like, oh, Stanford, 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 like it's just so
Right.
cool. And so I applied just to make my parents happy. Like I applied to like those other schools, the other private schools, and like at the last minute. And I wasn't expecting anything much of it. But then when I got into them, I was like, I actually started like researching them and realizing how amazing these other schools were too. And then that's what made it a tough decision ultimately.
Yeah, because that's like all 11 schools. Those are really good. Like if you like look, so that's dope. And that you got accepted to all of them, and it's like that's a great problem to have. Like when
That's what
applying
people
to
were telling
college.
me.
Yeah, that's a good problem to have. So that's really dope. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
What was it like being on the Ellen Show and being interviewed by Emmy Award-winning talk show host, comedian, and engineer Lonnie Love? And also, congrats on winning $25,000 from Shutterfly. That's really awesome.
Oh, thank you. It was cool to be on the Ellen show. Like I was on set and everything. I remember they called. Okay, I will say this. So when I was in like middle school, there was this there's this guy named Akintunde Ahmad. He went
Okay.
to my school. He went viral because it was almost like the same thing. He got into all these colleges. I think for his senior year, he had a 5.0 GPA. And to top it all off, he was on Ellen. So I was like,
Wow.
that guy, Tunde, like, I want to be like him. Like, I'm sitting there as a middle schooler thinking, like, I want to be like Tunde, even though I never met him. Now I do. Now I do know him. I'm real close with him. Tunde's my guy. But back then, he
That's
was just like,
dope.
it's just like stranger to me that I just wanted to be like. And then like we ended up doing almost the exact same things and I got to be on Ellen. So that was really cool. It was just like a full circle moment. And it was nice to be on set. I think what I remember the most about being on set is learning about all and seeing all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes. You know, you see
Okay.
Ellen, you see the whoever she's talking to, and you see the chairs, but you don't see the hundreds of people working in the back, working their butts off in the background, making it all possible. So I think that really helped put things into perspective for me and appreciate the show more because it's not just Ellen, it's hundreds of people.
Right. Like I'm a TV production major and I recently just switched my major to that. And I never knew like how much work goes into making a TV show, making a movie, like news, like it's a lot of people, directors, producers, just people like in the crew, like in the like on the set watching like the talent. So it's like it's a lot of work that goes into it. I think people just think, "Oh, it's just like the host or like the famous person in charge," but it's so many people. Yeah, but that's so dope. I was like, wow, like this young kid, like what am I doing with my life? But no, that's dope. Did you get to meet Ellen? Was she
No, I didn't get to meet Ellen. She was busy, but I did get to meet Lonnie Love, which is she's awesome.
Yeah, that's dope. That I like her on The Real on her show. So
Yeah, yeah.
that's dope. Yeah. That's and $25,000 to help you with like your school and Kids Cube, I'm sure too, right?
I think that's all. It's all for school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But
So
that's so
that's
dope. Yeah.
yep. Hmm.
And now you can go back to school shopping and get whatever you want. Can you explain to our audience what Kids Cubed is and where you got inspiration to create this nonprofit organization?
For sure. Kids Cubed is a youth-led nonprofit organization that I started, and our mission is to introduce youth to the wonders of science through fun, affordable, and accessible means. We do this by creating science kits for elementary schoolers that we create, assemble, package, and ship them to all across the country. And we also donate a lot of our science kits to OUSD students, Oakland students in the Oakland Unified School District. That's OUSD, and
Okay.
um, yeah, and I got it because I was babysitting. So I have a younger niece and nephew, Isla and Amir, and I was babysitting them like at the start of COVID when they told me that they hated science, which is crazy to me because I love science and at such a young and they're so young too, and they're too young to not like something already, especially something that just science.
Right. Yeah.
So I went to my room and I designed experiments for us to do with stuff we could find around the house. And they loved the experiments. And the joy that they felt is what I wanted to share with other children like them, other children in Oakland, other children in all these places that lack science resources, but have just an abundance of brilliant kids with the inner scientists in them. And I just wanted to create something that could tap into that.
That's so dope. That because I think sometimes I think in this newer generation, I feel like our generation we kind of got to play outside and did stuff like that. And I think this newer generation, they're like, you know, iPads, iPhones. Like my little cousin, she knows how to like unlock my phone, and she's like 4. So so and I think that's dope. But also like let's be mindful of what we're putting in their face, in front of their faces, like, you know, what they're learning
Exactly.
at school. And I think science is sometimes looked at as like boring or like not fun, like science and math and like STEM fields, like, oh, like that's kind of boring, but you can make that fun. You know, like I remember watching oh, Tim and Moby. I forgot the name of it, but
Oh, brain
Brain
pop.
Pop. Yes, that was so fun, and like the way they explained stuff and demonstrated us for like middle school, that was fun. And I feel like you're kind of doing that similar thing, making science fun for kids, especially kids of color too, because
Yeah.
I think that's also people kind of forget about kids that grow up in low income neighborhoods, Black kids, and Hispanic kids too. So that's dope that you're doing it in your community and showing that science can be fun and cool, like, you know, watching, like playing games or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so, what's your goal for Kids Cubed?
My goal, okay, my most immediate goal is I want to put a science kit into the hands of every elementary schooler in Oakland. We're actually getting kind of close to that. That's going to happen eventually.
That's
But,
dope.
you know, the lack of science resources isn't just the Oakland problem. It's a Bay Area, it's a city, state, country problem. It's a global
Yeah,
problem. So I just want to see Kids Cube continue putting science kit into the hands of students until everybody has access to science.
I like that because I think now it's like now I'm sure your niece and nephew are probably like really excited and like it a lot.
Without a doubt.
So I noticed on your Instagram account you play basketball. So did you always love basketball and science?
Yes. It's funny. So my brother was really good at basketball. He played Division I basketball at the University of Reno. But uh, my dad didn't even want me to play sports. He just wanted me to be just straight academics, right? But
Oh,
in third grade, it's just like because I'm hanging out with my older nephew, like my nephew, he's younger than me, but he's like my age. Amari, I was just hanging out with Amari all the time, and Amari played basketball. And so I keep asking my dad, like, Dad, can I play basketball? Can I play basketball? Can I play basketball? And then he
yeah.
eventually let me. I was around third grade, so I didn't play. I've been playing ever since. And so around the time I started getting into science, I'd also started getting into basketball.
Oh, nice. Okay. And you are you going to play basketball at Stanford?
No.
No. If you don't mind me asking, why not?
Well, one is just I would have to walk on to the team, which is just insanely hard. The team, their team is incredible. They're amazing. They have all their scholarship players already, and
Okay.
so let's say that I was good enough to walk onto the team, which I don't know if I am or not.
Okay.
I would have to try it, but I want to focus on my academics.
On your academics. Okay. So when you were playing basketball in high school, that was more like for fun and not like really like competitively like, oh, I want to do this later on. You know what I'm trying to say?
I was always undecided of whether or not I wanted to play basketball in college. Like obviously, it's a very fun thing to do. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity and experience. But for what I'm trying to do, and I don't think it's the best decision for me, just because there's
Okay.
a lot more that I want to explore. I know I love basketball, but I
Right.
also know I'm not going to the league. So I'm trying
Right.
to think
Okay.
what's best for my future, and studying and exploring other interests in life is probably a better way to spend my time.
Right. Right. I respect that. I respect that because you're still figuring out like where you want to go in that engineering field, whether you want to be like a software engineer, technical, there because I didn't know that there were so many different types. So like one of my friends broke it down to me, but that's dope. Like figuring out where you want to go.
Yeah,
So yeah, taking the time out in college to figure that out. And you'll always be able to play basketball. So
exactly. Yeah.
how can people support donate Kids Cubed? Is there like
Well,
a GoFundMe or Venmo that we can like
there's a website. So we have a donation page on the website. We're a nonprofit, so everything is tax deductible.
okay.
Shameless plug,
No plug.
www.kidscube.com, KITSCUBED.com. That's where we have our experiments and the About Us page and some photos and stuff like that. And to follow our journey at a deeper level, you should definitely check out our Instagram page at Kids Cubed. And so, yeah, you can support us by obviously donating or buying a kit or just spreading the word and sharing our mission and sharing our organization.
Yes, I know we were like all talking like last summer about like supporting Black-owned businesses, but we really got to do that. We really got to, like, share, comment, and support this young Black man that is doing great in his community for the state of California and for the country and the world essentially. So that's dope. Thank you, bro. I appreciate it for you coming on the podcast. It was awesome meeting you. You're a trailblazer and definitely making us all proud. And you are Black excellence, and I hope you know that, bro.
For sure, bro. I appreciate it. And thank you for reaching out and inviting me onto this show. I'm very excited and I had a great time.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. You can follow Ahmad on Instagram at Ahmad_Dubs, and you can follow Ahmad's nonprofit organization, Kids Cube, at Kids Cube on Instagram. For more information about the organization and to shop Kids Cube merch, you can go to www.kidscube.com. Be sure to leave a rating for the Cervantes podcast on Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Also, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on the Cervantes Podcast YouTube channel, and click the notification bell up top so you're notified whenever I upload a new episode. Thank you guys for listening. Have a good one.